Hey everybody, this is Rydo and we are back to F.E.A.R. So let's hop into level 3, considering how level 2 took forever. It's been a couple of days since I've played the game, which does not bode well, frankly, because unless there's a considerable small amount of
doesn't appear to be injured, although I don't know how he
levels
survived.
with 2
Worry
DLCs.
about that later. I'm reading Federal's transmitter near that position. You gotta take that fucker out, fast. Jess,
These
keep looking
graphics
for
still
handcuffs.
look really
Let me know
good
everything is life-size.
for a nearly
You can't
15-year-old
send him in
game.
alone. That's crazy.
He can take care of himself. Now move.
So now we're going in to take on Paxton Fintel.
You're lucky to be alive.
Where is her gun? Her vest? Like
You'd better get going.
anything at all? Like, I'm not gonna throw shade at a female
Don't
soldier
you have work to do?
being on the field, but just take a moment here. You have your standard faceless guy who's covered up in everything except for maybe his eyes. He's got an automatic gun, head to toe, bulletproof stuff. It's just kind of ridiculous. Speaking of ridiculous, I'm gonna have to remember all these controls that I had set. I guess we are kind of starting like the first level where we go down a hallway and then turn. Yeah, even if I was to assume that there's only like 3 levels in total. Let's see, and I assume that's just a piece of the roof for the DLC, and then maybe 3 levels for the next bit of DLC. The main game itself, I would have to assume, has more than 3 levels. Alright, so which button is use? One of these will throw a grenade, and one of these won't. So, pressing the back button, it's not throwing a grenade. I'm pressing the up on the D-pad, and it did throw a grenade. Oops. So what button did I set to use? I set it to the start button, which means the back button's got to be heal. Interesting. Oh, this interface is terrible. And then you run into an issue with this game series as you know it now.
Like I'm not gonna be able to send you any reinforcements for a while. My helos just got diverted to Armacam headquarters. Something big is going on. No shit. My people are right in the middle of it. I hear you. I wish I was calling the shots. Is it the same bad guys? Looks that way. I'm a little short on detail.
Just more dead bodies. The problem with this being a trilogy, and also kind of just knowing what Alma looks like as a creepy ghost girl. Alma is her name, by the way. These hammers glow, but they don't seem to mean anything. Because you can't, like, pick them up or anything. Almost feels like the hammers were going to be some other kind of collectible, which, let's face it, this game could have used another collectible of some sort, a small armor improvement. But yeah, because we know it's a trilogy, you kind of know Alma is going to play a role in the game going forward, and in the story. She's a creepy ghost girl. She's probably not going to die. We can't really defeat her. So here we've got some people flying over. It almost feels like you should have an ability to extend the battery life of your flashlight. Doing the very video game cliche thing here with battery life. Better life is extremely limited on a flashlight. So I think they probably intend for me to be able to get down this way and look around. There we go. Reflex is permanently boosted, which that might be a problem, because like we don't really have a run system. Like ideally you would want this to immediately go into run just because I'm pressing the left stick forward all the way, and it's not programmed that way. Let's see. See, I think if I was to guess, this was what we were gonna do anyways. So I really just went in circles for no reason. So we're not missing out on anything. It would be hard even now with the two images we've seen to suspect that Alma is actually protecting us, and so she was walking towards us when there was an explosion, because she also kind of melted our friends.
You have one new message. Mike, what the hell's going on over there? It sounded like an explosion. I can't get through to anybody. Call me back. End of messages.
It seems like that might have been the exact same line of dialogue in the last recording. One assumes if I just jump in there, I would be doomed and just die instantly. I didn't really check the videos to see if the gamma is at the right setting, but I'm gonna just assume it kind of is. Interesting. So you have to use the ladder if you want to use the ladder, and boy does that not animate smoothly. There are definitely some Unity or Unreal asset flips that by 2019 standards would look way better than this, although the textures and the skins might look about the same in a lot of instances. I guess it really boils down to how much you're willing to spend and whether you're willing to pay the big bucks for better textures and better climbing animations. And I would say that without the most recent versions of Unreal and Unity, a lot of the programming was a lot more hand-coded now. They finally started to get their stuff together and have a lot of pre-compiled libraries or pre-written libraries for animation. Alright, that's super dark. But this is what it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be like this, where even in the best case scenario, all you've got is a terrible flashlight, and you can see our HUD is flickering. And yep, there's a creepy kid that just ran by, which I think it also may be scripted this. Alright, here's part of the problem with F.E.A.R compared to Condemned Criminal Origins. I'm hearing like more and more breathing. Yeah, she's just kind of playing at this point. So unless there's a scare system here, let's see how we climb upward. Then I think we see somebody climbing up there. Yep. Yeah, unless there's kind of a scare system where you have to not be scared. Imagine you're gonna be scared. Alright, so it does seem like you're fine to just come over here and just jump down and then pick up a health kit. And we've got a corpse. We've got to walk around. Ah, that is. Yeah, you have to crouch down. It's not the corpse that's the problem. This feels like this is almost certainly influenced heavily by Half-Life. I'd be very surprised if this came out before then, but I imagine military shooters in general. So if you just hold back whenever you hear those, you'll get the full dialogue. Yeah, in Condemned Criminal Origin, you're kind of a detective. I mean, you're not some lightweight paper pusher or anything, but interesting how the door opened and yet I don't see anything coming from there. There's a lot of smoke happening there. Like I can't target people. There's my armor. So, the problem is when you're a psychic soldier, you're at that point not just somebody who you would really believe has that possibility to potentially have a huge mental breakdown and hallucinate, which you have to assume either everything here is being caused by something, either Alma or some other maybe psychic ability that even you have, and you're seeing like the ghosts of people. Although if you have the psychic ability to see ghosts, I think at the point that you were a highly trained military operative for F.E.A.R, which, yeah, that as an organization has proven to have really no importance at all, because at least not in this prequel section. Maybe in the main story you'll play more of the game with the other F.E.A.R agents. It's not as scary of an experience as it probably should be. Whereas Condemned Criminal Origin, you're this investigator, you're seeing a lot of very varied spooky stuff with no real main enemy to put it all on, and the main enemy you have to kind of assume might be that you're just crazy and hallucinating things. While you are chasing this murderer, you kind of don't even see who the murderer is until the end, and like you get kind of this weird final boss fight that got added, I think just because somebody higher up said it needed to be added. So that's a ladder up. Is there anywhere else one could go? Yeah, a lot of areas here where Wouldn't be well suited to travel. Just gotta crouch it down again. And get another boost to our reflexes. What you don't have here is any kind of system, at least by the looks of it, that randomly generates jump scares. I don't think Condemned Criminal Origin had that either, but since this area is kind of so small, now I think if you pick up too many guns, they'll eventually drop the other gun. But so here we have something you can't shoot through the other side, it seems. Although it feels like I probably could shoot through the other side and hit it, being a 3D object. But I think they want me to go up here and go over. So a little surprised you don't have a knife for a melee weapon. A little surprising there. Come on, lock in and climb up. And having a flashlight on in this section's not really going to change much. Yeah. As a military person, it really does feel like either he's gonna freak out immediately, but when he first sees Alma, and he already should, or he's going to, well, geez, what's the way to open this? Don't tell me I have to go back down to activate some kind of switch or something. Nope, you just shoot it. Game really hadn't told me that I could do that. So it's trying to get me to understand, man am I missing. It's trying to get me to understand the concept of you can shoot things when you really can't shoot things. Like, there's a lot of stuff here that just get the generic bullet hole decals on them and play no real role. So well. Let's throw a grenade. That really work? I'm almost out of grenades. Well, and out of bullets. See, now that grenade felt like it hit him dead on. I'm not really rushing. Come on. Come this way. If anything, I would say these handguns have just a slow rate of fire, so they probably work relatively well to not have you run out of bullets. Yeah, but without that all too familiar sound effect of music playing when you're in a conflict and then music stopping once you're out of a conflict, something that has become ubiquitous nowadays, you're in a weird position. It does just kind of feel like you're doing your own thing, and you might run into an enemy, you might not. Since I have no swap gun ability, I can't really do much here. Yeah. Like, all the swap gun buttons would be on the mouse and keyboard. I did hear if you set Steam up in the game mode and then launch the game in what is it called? Game mode, or is it called something different? There's a special mode for basically when you have Steam running on a TV from across the room, which is actually what I do have, so it would be fine to be in that mode. It just is a hassle in general, and it might make it more difficult to record doing that. But according to the discussions on Steam, if you launch it from that game mode, you'll have controller support, but that might be an old post on an older version, because you do technically have controller support here. It's just not getting mapped right, and I don't think this would qualify, in my opinion, as full controller support, even if it was labeled as such on Steam. I would much more call this partial controller support. It feels... I'm gonna go ahead and use the health pack. They do stop you from using the health packs if you're at full health, by the way. It feels very much like we might get into our first boss fight, which I guess I need a boss fight. Let's see. I'm trying to just see muzzle flashes. There goes all my armor. Might just be easier to have the flashlight so you can see. Of course, I made a problem of my own creation here. They all seem to prefer to come from that direction. Except for that guy, who seems to have preferred to just die. I could potentially see playing this though and not really having the greatest of experience even on easy, because there's a lot of chance here, it feels like, that you could just screw up and take damage regardless. Or you could just be short on grenades, or you could be short on bullets. There's a real collection here of possibilities, and an odd split, certainly, in what we're doing. Like, you're fighting all these military people. I wonder if the main game of F.E.A.R. 1 is all about fighting military people also that are under control of Alma. I think that probably was what it needs to be, is that Alma would just constantly be mentally controlling other military people, causing these horrific crises that obviously have to go pretty long. Unlike a 2-hour movie, like if you're going to get a 5, 6, 10, 30 hour game out of this, you're going to have something along the lines of a Resident Evil 2 experience, where it's a lot of wandering around the same place, or Resident Evil 1 experience too. Just all of that game takes place in a house, but so much occurs that there's no questioning the length. Alright, so I can only have 10 health, so on easy you're probably fine. Those might explode. This won't open here. Seems like they occasionally have this afterthought. Ooh, we have collectible information.
The data's uploading now.
So all we're gonna do is upload it.
Summary addressed to an Army Cam review committee. According to the abstract, there's some major contamination coming from upstream. I can't imagine why Army Cam would be interested unless they're responsible.
So we're getting some backstory and some dialogue from a character that I can't even recognize. And interesting that they've made the separation that the important information is on laptops, the computers are nothing. These water fountains don't let you regain health. And again, I'm just full of health. So I assume you regain a lot less health on harder difficulties, and that might be the only thing that really changes. And boy, does it feel like some of these sections are just repeats. You can't open these. You totally feel how there's, like, modern technology would replace a lot of this stuff with better and more mechanics and better level design. I guess it's weird to say because I never really thought about it, but level design must be getting better. It clearly isn't getting worse than a game like this. Or at least maybe with more hard drive space and more room for textures in the video RAM, you can have more varied things happen. Excuse me. I don't know if this is just going to be another shootout, or if we're just starting to escape. Just go ahead and throw that over there. And was that enough? These guys do like to move. I have to grant them that. But we've got some, like, god rays in our eyes, so I can't really see. So we've got a guy somewhere over there. We've got another guy over there. Got a guy over here. Alright, 2 of them. If I can hit these guys. I think we've got our last guy here. I think he threw a grenade, so they do seem like they're pretty dumb. Seems like they're designed to run towards you. And then, yep. That's the problem. Did he drop a grenade? I don't think so. His handguns, I suspect, are actually pretty good. Slow, but dealing more damage than the other guns. And as such, they're probably the best weapon in the game. Let's see. Metal grates don't break. We can't climb these that look like ladders. These walls probably always indicate a physical barrier. You can't go any further in that direction. It doesn't seem like there's anything secret or collectible around here. A game like this now, from a modern perspective, like you're almost better that you haven't played this before, because if you had played it before, you're gonna have such a familiarity with these encounters that if you don't have that nostalgia for the game series on top of that familiarity, it's going to be extremely repetitive and boring. It's already, by modern standards, pretty repetitive and boring. Now, they are getting later in the night. It'll be weird if, but at some point they probably will have to change the timeline back. I don't think this game can just end at the break of dawn the next day. But the DLC, I guess, could end at the break of dawn, and then the main story could be in a different point. And yeah. Seems like I have no choice but to jump. Now. When swimming, do we have? It's just Alma running again. They are playing the same tune over and over again, and it's not variations on a theme per se, it's just cut and paste content. Like, I really do feel like either they learned their lessons from this first game when they made Condemned Criminal Origins, or Condemned Criminal Origins was the good game, and this was just, oh, we were contracted to make a first-person shooter game. In a weird way, I guess Monolith is one of these developers that is under contract to make certain things more than making their own things. I'm sure when they first made the Lord of the Rings Shadow of Mordor game, they probably figured that that was just going to be a generic Lord of the Rings tie-in game, which, let's be honest, movie tie-in games are usually awful and just cheap cash grabs. So you have a glass bottle here, just so you knock it over and get that sound effect. But Monolith did manage to turn the Lord of the Rings game into something interesting by introducing the Nemesis system, which was a great idea for exactly one game, and then it really wasn't that interesting in its own sequel for Shadow of Mordor, or Shadow of War. And yeah, now we're hallucinating, and I don't know what we're supposed to be hallucinating other than we are in the exact same place that Alma was. What's interesting here is this is like a car light for a mechanic light. Never seen one flash, and I've never seen one work without an electrical cord plugged in, and not particularly things that would need to run off batteries. So am I supposed to jump down or just forward? So now we're in a hallucination. This is different. We needed something different. For sure. And what was that, like a blood baby? Did we just end the level? Or did I just die? F.E.A.R operative is engaged in a second replica company throwing enemy forces into disarray. SFOD team is preparing to assault Alma Corp headquarters. Enemy strength is presently unknown. The body in Auburn has been possibly identified as Charles Hagenbaumer, an aerocam researcher. Primary goal to eliminate Pax so Fenton second. Well, we have to hit something else. So.
No, but I found some human remains. Impossible to ID without lab work.
That can't be him. His light signs are a little unusual, but he's definitely alive. He's got to be around there somewhere.
I'll keep looking.
So, I guess we're just not going to get cutscenes anymore. Like, that's weird. That's weird that it felt like there should have been more of a cutscene there. And I don't know if I'm supposed to go down here and go that way, or if I'm supposed to go up here and find out that I can't go this way. Yeah, you can't go this way. Alright, so we know what we're doing. We're going that way. Alright, well, this is what I thought the game was going to be. Certainly is a game where each level was about 30 minutes long, and it would just continuously move forward and forward and not show all the cutscenes. And I kind of like the full-on room replacement hallucination, but we didn't really get to see much. Again, my own fault for turning down the brightness and the gamma. Maybe there is a reason as we continue to play this game to say actually the gamma should be turned up. But yeah, we kind of know what a hallucination like that is probably going to be. It's going to be telling the backstory of Alma, selling Alma as the cool anti-hero of the story while not having you actually play as her, which honestly that would have been a more interesting game is if you were just playing as her. There's a game called, I believe it's Damien. There's like three games. It's basically the Bad Seed or the Omen. I think it's more the Omen in video game form, and you do get to play as the evil son of the devil. That may have been too much for a big producer and a AAA dev 15-14 years ago. But it would be easy enough to do these days. So if you were going to remake this game, you probably would want to play as Alma at least for some of the game, and maybe we will later. Or at the very least have it where you're interacting with her a lot more and maybe protecting her a lot more. If you played all of F.E.A.R 1, for instance, protecting this girl, and then it isn't until like near the end of the last level that it's revealed that she has special powers or that she's evil, that would be a good twist. Like you could be protecting her for the first half of the game and she slowly reveals, oh, I have this power, or oh, I can make you see visions or something like that. But it doesn't fully reveal that she's the bad guy until the last couple levels. That would be cool. Otherwise, though, as the game is so far, it's very generic. It's very, very generic, and it is really a great example of why there really is no reason for any video game critic, even when going back to look at like retro and old games, there's no reason to come back to these 90s first-person shooter games, because they very often did nothing, said nothing, and really aren't anything by comparison to modern first-person shooters. And in all fairness, even modern first-person shooters probably are going to feel like a big old nothing burger compared to games 15 years down the line from now. Whereas something like BioShock, I still think would be worth playing for the story. 10, 15 years from now, the gameplay itself may not be that interesting. Anyways, that's going to be it for this recording. As always, I ask you to like, share, subscribe, comment, and watch every second of my videos. If you want a friend or follow me on any social media sites, there's a whole bunch of links down below in the description box. And if you want to support me even further, there's a link to Patreon, or you can friend me on Steam and gift me a game off my wishlist. Thank you for watching. Have a good evening.